Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another Powered Cube draft here on Arena, one of the last few videos before my month-long study abroad trip. Little disclaimer out of the way for those who have not seen the posts. I will be gone for about a month, and I'll take a break from Magic during that time as well to focus fully on my studies. So that disclaimer out of the way, let's get in the pack one, pick one here. There's a ton of great options to go with. Broadside Bombardiers is ridiculous in any aggressive red deck. It's probably what I'm going to go with here. But of course, as always in Cube, you can kind of season to taste whatever decks you are the best at playing and you prefer the most. You can lean towards those early in the draft and see if they end up being open. But here, I'm just going to go Broadside Bombardiers. I think that card is great, and I think the aggro decks are moderately easier to play than some of the more combo your control-y decks that are a little more confusing for players like me. Pick number 2, Galvanic Discharge is a really efficient removal spell for any red deck to go alongside the Broadside Bombardiers. That's perfectly fine if we want to immediately hop onto Boros. Clarion Conqueror and Reprieve are both pretty good. There's Entomb for going towards a Reanimator deck. That's a really consistent way to make sure you get your best reanimation target into your graveyard for all of your reanimation spells. We could go for the Entomb here, I think, and that way we're not like fully tied towards one strategy. We've got one really good card towards a couple different directions. If we get past any good reanimation spells, Entomb is a good way to start here. I think I'm actually going to go Entomb. Talked myself into it. I think that's a pretty exciting pickup. Vaultborn Tyrant is a really good reanimation targets, but not a reanimation spell. There are quite a few good cards to reanimate, so I don't think you need to take the reanimation targets very highly. You need to take the spells that do it and the spells that put them into the grave. Also, Efficient Interaction is a really high pickup, so something like Snuff Out here could be a great pick. Even if I do want to play Reanimator, we could take Snuff Out over Vaultborn Tyrant here. As a card we could have up for 0 mana, so we have interaction up even when our opponent isn't, or even when we don't have any mana untapped. I don't know, I was talking about the opponent. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Snuff Out on this one. Pretty good start. Troll of Khazad-dûm is a good, like, worst case scenario card to reanimate because it's really easy to just shove this thing into your graveyard and pick up a land. But it's not a very good reanimation target. Obviously, no enter the battlefield effect or death trigger value. It's entirely just a body to try to hit your opponent with. Figure of Destiny is a fine card to go one card deeper onto the Broadside Bombardiers deck. I think I would take that over Stoke the Flames. And if we want to go a completely different direction, I don't think anything here is massively powerful to justify pushing a different way speculatively. I'll just grab the Figure of Destiny on that one. Pick number 5, Flame Slash is a really efficient red removal spell. Mind Collapse is similar to Snuff Out. You could technically have it up when you have 0 mana untapped, but you really don't want to sacrifice a land until the game's basically going to be over by casting this. But sometimes red decks can do that, right? Like you can tap out all of your mana to play some burn spells at their face, and then sacrifice one of your tapped mountains to clear their last blocker out of the way. Like, Mind Collapse can be a good explosive finisher. But it's a pretty different card from Snuff Out, because it's not very good on the defensive, trying to stop them from doing something crazy. It's a very hefty cost to lose a land permanently for the rest of the game. It's still a pretty cool card. Don't think I'm going to take anything white here, even if I do end up towards Boros. We might be able to go Mind Collapse over Flame Slash. Sure. Pick number 6 now. Abrade is a great efficient red removal spell. There's really nothing towards that Reanimator strats. Nothing super powerful for something else. I mean, Vivi's pretty great for the blue-red decks, obviously, but I'd rather just grab Abrade here. Pick number 7. Not a ton here. Blade Splice is solid for Boros. Grave Titan, I guess, is okay in Reanimator, but you ideally want more expensive, more impactful cards than that. Yeah, I'll go Blade Splicer on this one. Pick 8, Enduring Innocence is a card draw engine for Boros, or Subtlety's pretty good in a blue deck. Maybe like some blue-black Reanimator or something, but I'm kind of feeling like the move back towards Boros might be where it's at, because we just didn't see any reanimation spells. We saw a target here or there. We saw like a Vaultborn Tyrant. We saw a Grave Titan, but we did not see any Animate Dead or Reanimate or even Recurring Nightmare or anything. Life and Death. But we are seeing cards like Glimmerlens Wheel, Clarion Conqueror, and Galvanic Discharge Wield, both of the pretty premium Boros cards. kind of the only two good cards for Boros that were in this pack in the first place. Yeah, we're seeing much clearer signals to be able to draft Boros than to draft Reanimator. We've got a lot of 3-mana cards already, but I do like Clarion Conqueror a lot in this cube, shutting off all the Moxes and nonsense and Planeswalkers. I'm going to take Clarion Conqueror. It is kind of a nombo with Broadside Bombardiers, but still. These were the only red cards in this pack, if I remember right, a Glorybringer and a Nova Hellkite. I like both quite a bit. Maybe I'm a boomer for this, but I prefer Glorybringer. I think Nova Hellkite's probably actually better by win rate because you get to get more damage in with it more quickly because you do the warp and then you do the big thing, but I do really like topping off my curves with Glorybringer. I used to play that card in Standard. Legend of Yangchen and Stoke the Flames wield, once again, two of the most notable Boros cards that we saw in this pack in the first place. Take a Stoke the Flames here over a Legend. I don't want to get too many 5-mana cards. I already got a Glorybringer. Elite Interceptor and Pyromancer wield again. Two cards I took note of when I first saw the pack, coming all the way around. Looks like it's going to be a Boros draft based on the way things have gone. We could take a Stoneforge Mystic here that can grab Glimmerlens, worst case scenario, and it's just a fine little draw spell. But if we happen to get like a Batterskull or the 7-mana Cauldron Completer or whatever, then that's a combo with it. I do think that I saw one of those in pack 1. I don't remember which one because that card's not very good, so it's not very high on my radar to try to keep it in mind for the future. But I think like we saw Batterskull wheel around the first pack and nobody, well, we didn't take it at least. So maybe not Stoneforge, but like Embereth Shieldmate Breaker. It's a very coin flippy card. When your opponent has their turn 1 Mox, then you have the Shield Breaker, you're like, let's go. We got there. But otherwise, a 2-mana 2-1 with literally no abilities is so far below cube power level. But I mean, these are the only two cards worth noting. Really, March of Otherworldly Light is just so inefficient, in my opinion. I'm going to gamble on the Stoneforge. I mean, I think I would rather end up cutting either of those cards unless we get something really cheeky with Stoneforge Mystic, so we'll just give ourselves the opportunity to potentially get past something cheeky to do with it. I'll take an Usher of the Fallen here. These 1-mana creatures are great. Galvanic Blast is solid, but really like the 1-drop threats. Seer Slicer Goblin's a really good one. Fills out that 2-mana slot on the curve. It's an army in a can, making a 1/1 every single turn. Ancient Tomb can be good even in Boros, but some of the better creatures in this kind of deck are going to be like double white and 1, double red and 1, a red and white and 1. Like, we could get stuck without ways to use the colorless mana sometimes in the wrong deck. I mean, I guess it's drafting it early enough we could build around it, but I just don't think it's super, super insane generally for Boros. Because, yeah, you have cards like Skyclave Apparition, only have the 1 colorless. Fear of Missing Out's a really good 2-drop, really consistent one to set up your draw as well. I like that a lot here, looking at our mana curve. Apparition and Overlord are both very good cards as well, but really love the way Fear Missing Out fits in here. The red-white dual land was also a really notable option there. You do want to have some duels for similar reasons to why I don't love Ancient Tomb in this matchup, because you just have so many red and white symbols in your costs, like, you know, Figure Destiny, Enduring Innocence, Glorybringer. A lot of color restrictive cards. I mean, Figure's not color restrictive. That's more an argument against Ancient Tomb than it is an argument for Sacred Foundry. Lawrence is kind of the only on-color card. Lion Sash or Emeritus. I feel like it's pretty hard to cast 2 spells in 1 turn. I could actually take a Mana Tithe here. Mana Tithe out of Boros is fun because it's just like, you know, no one expects the random Mana Tithe. Sometimes it can do some really good things for you. Yeah, it's fun, it's cute. I don't think either of these 2-drops are very consistent. Lion Sash is super slow, and then Emeritus, again, pretty difficult to get 3 spells in 1 turn if you don't get any power like Moxes and stuff. If you get Moxes and stuff, you could have some absurdly explosive opening hands with this card, but otherwise, not that consistent. We did get the Cauldron Complete, hey. It's kind of hard to take it here over Sage of the Skies. This is such a Boros pack. Such a good Boros pack. I'm just going to be an idiot and play the Stoneforge Mystic because I haven't really ever played Stoneforge Mystic in the queue before. We should 100% just take like Sage of the Skies here and just not run Stoneforge, but we've got the opportunity to do something cheeky. I'll do the Cauldron Complete nonsense, even if it's going to make our deck a little bit worse. It'll be fun. Take a Lightning Helix or Get Lost. Both are pretty good. I should take the Get Lost so I can get some really big creatures out of the way. This archetype's fast enough we don't really care if we give our opponent some value back. Got a Galvanic Blast to come back around. Let's see if we got that Sacred Foundry here. Pick 11. No. Was this where Sacred Foundry was? I think so. Scroll's alright, but there's Mother of Runes and Giver of Runes in this cube as well, and I like both of those better, and I don't really want to run like a bunch of those kinds of cards. I think I'd rather just grab the value play of Thraben Inspector and hope to get either a Mother of Runes or a Giver of Runes. We did get Sacred Foundry back. Skyclave Apparition good too, but gotta have at least some dual lands, some mana fixing, and we have none yet. We're at 22 non-land cards right now. That's pretty sick. We only need one more card to get there. Rest Harvester is such a strange addition to this cube, honestly. They tried to give it more of an artifact sub-theme. I don't think any of that stuff's really going to pan out too powerfully. Wow, talk about Boros being open. We'll absolutely play Paulo. Pack 3, pick 1. Well, hey. Cloud Midgar Mercenary. Another way to tutor up. Oh, there's a Mox. Dang it. Maybe we'll wheel Cloud. But Cloud's another way to tutor out the Cauldron Complete, although with Cloud we do have to hardcast it instead of cheat it into play, which is pretty awkward. But if we put Cauldron Complete onto Cloud double triggers, that doesn't even really matter. If we put a Glimmer Lens on Cloud, I guess, then we can draw 2 every time it attacks. I feel like, what equipment are you supposed to be using with Cloud? Are you really just supposed to turn 3 go Cloud for Skull Clamp? Or I guess turn 4. Cloud for Skull Clamp, sacrifice Cloud, draw 4, just so your Boros decks can have a 4-mana draw 4. Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be for Skull Clamp. I don't actually really know. We obviously take Mox Ruby there. Ooh, we get an opportunity to play around with Armageddon. That's a fun one. So if you get a few creatures onto the board before your opponent does, and then you resolve Armageddon, they just die. They have no mana. You hit them a couple times and they're dead. So Armageddon is a pretty fun way to try to end the game in your aggro strats. It's a very bad draw at the wrong time, so it is a little finicky, but it's incredibly explosive in like the opener, especially in like a Mox opener. So I want to try to play around with it. It's new to the cube as well, I believe, so we'll play around with Armageddon. Pick 3 now, Ocelot Pride, one of the best 1-drops in the whole cube. Spitting out an army of cats. We will take that here, but I love Adeline as well. A red-white duel would go very far. The other cards are decent here too, Inti, Tursa. But we'll take Ocelot Pride. Pick number 4, Holy Boros. We got a Thalia. We have kind of a high non-creature count for Thalia. Unholy Heat, Magmatic Hellkite, Lorehold the Historian. There's another big Glorybringer style top-end card. I kind of like taking Unholy Heat and playing it over Galvanic Blast because we're never going to have Metalcraft. We could have Delirium. We have enchantment creatures and artifact creatures in here. Maybe Hellkite fill out that 4-mana slot. But I like keeping the curve really low here too. Yeah, I'll just take Unholy Heat. Alright, well I guess pick 5 here. We kept that 4-drop slot open. We can take a Gideon. Kind of a nombo with Clarion Conqueror, but
I march into battle as your champion of justice.
We'll see. Maybe we'll play him. Fiery Confluence is pretty strong in these decks. Deal 6 to your opponent's face for only 4 mana to try to end the game. But it has all that flexibility depending on the matchup. I like the Fiery Confluence here a lot. Another good 4-drop. There is Arid Mesa too, and we have a fetchable Sacred Foundry, so that is something. These packs have been sick. Tinker and Sneak Attack showing up in the last pack, that's pretty brutal, because those are the kind of cards you really want to build around. So for them to show up like mid-pack 3, pretty tragic. We could take Scalding Tarn, that'll grab Sacred Foundry or Mountain. Could also take Seer. Don't really think I need more non-creature cards, so I'm just going to grab the fetch. Okay, it's definitely not Settle the Wreckage. I don't think we're going to play any of these, but maybe Phyrexian Revoker. Shut off a specific ability if we need to. Could try to be an idiot and do some trash for treasure things with Cauldron Complete, but I don't know how we're putting that in our graveyard in the first place. Probably not worth it. I'll take the Cloud. I just don't think, even with having a couple random equipment, that Cloud actually does anything in this deck. I like Bone Crusher Giant a lot, but again, we have more than enough playables. I'm okay with having very slightly worse spells overall to just get better fixing here. Adeline over Maestro. I feel like I really don't want to play Thalian here. I'll grab Lorehold. Carnage Interpreter. I have so many other 3-drops, I don't think I would end up choosing that one in the end. Alright. We get to cut quite a few cards from here. Boros was just very open overall. Start off by cutting a land because we have a Mox. Alright, I'm gonna just cut some of the more narrow cards that are like for specific matchups. No, not Seer Slicer. The like Artifact, Enchantment, Destruction, and the Revoker. Hopefully we've got enough random little card draw. We don't need like the Enduring Innocence. Maybe not try to do cheeky Mind Collapse stuff. Stoke the Flame's also a little expensive. We have to cut a lot of cards here, so... I mean, Galvanic Blast definitely, I think, can get a cut. We have to cut 8 cards. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 possible cuts. We're on 19 creatures and a Glimmer Lens. That's 20 creatures, and Cauldron Complete is 21. We can cut 4 of these creatures at least really easily. Let's cut the Artifact, Enchantment, Blow Up cards. Let's go curve-wise. Maybe I play the Revoker and then the Lorehold for 16 creatures. And then we cut these 4. I don't mind it. Maybe I do want Stoke the Flames, though. Just another way to shoot face randomly. We ever get lost? I guess our random ways to shoot face are like Bombardier's Lorehold. Still. We've got random big hasters and the shoot for 6. Yeah, no, I'll keep those over Stoke the Flame. Keep a little bit of cheap removal in here too. Alright, I don't know if the end build is correct here, but I'm pretty happy with the archetype we chose out of this draft pot. I think that was probably right. We are on 14 white sources, 14 white cards and 9 red. And we're on exactly the same counts of each right now. Let's cut 1 red for 1 white and call it a deck there. Hop into the gameplay, see how far the probably incorrect Stoneforge Mystic Cauldron Complete Boros deck can take us. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 1. Love to see it. Let's lead with Figure of Destiny. Pass through. No white source could be awkward. We got Fear Missing Out to dig a little. Discard this 1 drop. There we go. Just in time for Clarion Conqueror. Rofellos. Alright, never mind on that front. Let's abrade that bad boy. So they don't play a 6-mana card next turn after playing a forest. Oh, wait. Clarion Conqueror would just shut off Rofellos' ability anyway. But, you know, this way they don't just, like, blow up Clarion Conqueror and do the thing. This is not pointless that I did that. This is fine. Oh, I suppose I actually want to upgrade Figure of Destiny here before I play Clarion Conqueror. Why did I attack with Fear Missing Out? Playing a little too fast here. Alright, fair. Little punt to get us started. Oh, man. Alright, well, we can shut off Oko until they kill Clarion Conqueror. Oko is still really annoying. Yeah, that's
Your relief
obnoxious.
is enchanting.
Just downgrade our Figure of Destiny after we dumped all the mana into it. Alright, well, hit the land for Lorehold is pretty great, because they shouldn't be able to stop us from killing Oko for 1 green mana. I guess they could have Fog, but there's no Fog in this cube. Cauldron Complete already looking hilarious in here. I literally just want to discard it to draw a card. Get Lost is a good draw. Oh, that only triggers an opponent's upkeeps. Interesting. Bounce Lorehold. Fair enough. We can just replay it. Probably sandbag this land, right? So that we can play Lorehold past, discard the land, draw a card. Thieving Skydiver, nothing to steal. The Lighted Halfling. Just a little bit of chumpers. Dang it. If I'd only kept Cauldron Complete, we actually would have played it this turn, surprisingly enough. Clarion Conqueror is pretty funny with Get Lost, because as long as this is on the board, they can't even use their map tokens. Alright, down to 2 it is. No! The Stoneforge after we ditched the Cauldron Complete. That's really funny. I mean, we would have been able to hardcast it anyway, so the Stoneforge would have been awkward either way. Alright, there's the concession from our opponent. Pretty punty game there to get us started, but we're learning some things for future matches, and we will start things off 1-0, heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2 against a fellow white player. They start with turn 1 Skrelv to protect their cards with hexproof from whatever color they choose every turn. Luckily, a 1-2 does hold off the Skrelv, though. We can go ahead and drop Skrelv can't protect himself, right? Yeah. So we can shoot ourselves with Sacred Foundry to Unholy Heat this Skrelv. I guess I can pretend I'm just cracking the clue here. I don't need to shoot Skrelv immediately. That'll give me a little more time to save Unholy Heat. But it's not like I can save it for something better, because if I don't kill Skrelv, they can protect anything else from Unholy Heat. Alright, let's just shoot it when it attacks us. That's fine. Tithe the Spellbinder. Really good mana Tithe. Clarion Conqueror is going to be a tiny bit awkward here. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the Adeline draw. I think if we didn't draw Adeline, it's still so worth it to just play Conqueror there, because it's not like they can just let us keep this forever. So whenever they do kill it, we can still draw our card off the clue. But Adeline's a really good draw there. Better Triumph the Adeline. Discarding an Archon of Cruelty, that's not a good sign. That means they likely have a reanimation spell to cast on it. I don't have the mana. I don't have the mana to crack this clue out and play the Conqueror, unfortunately. We do get our second red for Glorybringer here, and then a Jam. We got 1 mana up for the Mana Tithe. If they've got it. I imagine they're reanimating the Archon here, but luckily we've got the token to sack to it. Grave Researcher. So it's going to prepare itself in their upkeep after it already dies to a Glorybringer. Let's go. Oh wait, no, Mana Tithe. If they have it. What do they have for 1 white? Hold up. It's not Mana Tithe. Surprisingly. I was almost debating, like, should I just not cast Glorybringer? Because it felt really likely to get tithed there, since it's holding. Maybe it's March of Otherworldly Light? Oh, it must be March of Otherworldly Light. To like white and X to exile something, which is just way too slow here. Yeah. Alright. That card is just really inefficient as we see. That is perfectly fine. We get to crack our clue now. See their final card in hand. One removal spell, which will not be enough to not die this turn, so they need to draw something really good. And they did not. We are 2-0 heading to game 3. Another monocolored hand here, which is a little bit awkward, but I don't mind just pushing in with the Ocelot Pride for a bit, getting a bunch of tokens until we draw into something. Certainly a weaker hand by cube power level standards. Uh-oh, double red card is the first draw. That is quite awkward. Emperor Bones. Scary enough. Get out of here. Come on, top deck. Mountain is not bad. Although I wish I didn't cast Get Lost at that point. I think it was still worth casting right then in case we hit one of our many 3-mana creatures. Most of them are white. Ivora. Okay. We can just deal with her. That works too. Got the deal 6 to face. Once again, if I waited, technically I could have shot Ivora for 1 and then them for 4. I don't know if I should shoot them in the face here or save this in case they play more creatures. Well, no, this kills our own creatures too. Yeah, I probably should just shoot them for 6 there. Probably not gonna like blow up a map token or a blood token. Yeah, I forgot this is multi-sided, the 1 damage to each creature, so we really don't want to do that as long as Ocelot Pride's on board. Pyrogoyf, no, not the Ocelot Pride. Goodbye, my king. Well, I'm really just gonna Confluence to face, then cast whatever they draw, and then Culture Complete. I guess. Let's see. Pyrogoyf. Oh my god, the combo. It rarely comes up, but Pyrogoyf makes it so any Lurgoyf they play triggers when it enters. So if you have Pyrogoyf and Barogoyf, it is brutally powerful. Because then you gain all that life off the enter effect too. Yeah, I mean, that just ended the game. We got Wombo comboed by the dream team of Lurgoyfs. I mean, we've got a bigger top end than most Boros decks because we have this Cauldron Complete coming up, but I just do not think we're surviving the Lurgoyf onslaught here. I mean, the Barogoyf draws them another card every time it hits us, fills their graveyard farther as well. This is tremendously bad. Can you cast Fury from exile for its evoke cost? Yes, you can. They could evoke a Fury here if they've got an extra card in hand. Yep. And then we're basically just dead. I mean, we take 11 damage and they have a lightning bolt too, so 14. And they draw another card off of Barogoyf. All right, they got way too much life. That is going to be 2 and 1 now. I think we really lost a Paraguay there. But also the hand was like a little greedy, and we definitely didn't draw out of it. Like we didn't draw a single other threat outside of the Ocelot Pride, so like once they killed that, even if they didn't have the Baragoyf, the hand was going to be pretty slow, so yeah, kind of a risky hand as well that did not pan out for us, so maybe a mulligan would have helped quite a bit. Not sure. I mean, even if we mulled, running into the Baragoyf would have been rough. 2 and 1, heading into game number 4. All right, here we are now on the draw for game number 4. No 2-mana creature here, so we'll just draw a card off Interceptor turn 2. Cool. Maybe I should have done that pre-combat in case they kill this when I go to combat. And they could respond by like removal spelling. That would be fine. Let me just pull a removal spell on our 1-drop. Nope, they just let us get the card. Fair enough. We've got the Nombo, Clarion Conqueror, and then the Broadside Bombardiers, whose ability will not work when we have Clarion Conqueror on board. Floodpit Drowner, the Interceptor. Play a Lotus Cobra. This is turning into a pretty good Fiery Confluence game, I would say. Let's go Conqueror. And then next turn, we can go Shockland into Fiery Confluence. Apologies for the Discord boop. Sentinel of the Nameless City. That is way too thick for Fiery Confluence. Okay, luckily they didn't put any counters on anybody else, though. Oh yeah, because they can't because of Clarion Conqueror. Good stuff, Clarion Conqueror. I appreciate you. Hopefully they don't have a 1 blue mana counter spell. Boop, boop. And a 1 mana counter? There's not a lot of those. I think there's more free counters than 1 mana counters. Okay, no counter spell. Good stuff. Get in there, Conqueror. They're down to 11. No blocks. Surrock. So now every time we target their stuff, they also draw a card. What if I were just to not do that then? What if I were to just Glorybringer without exerting it? They got Daze? Oh, they got Subtlety. Dang. I am pretty low on life here. I mean, I'm on 12 for these crackbacks. They're going to be painful. They're 1 life off from dying to Glorybringer. Broadside Bombardiers is not a solution here because it doesn't work when Conqueror's on board. Down to 5. They have 2 cards in their hand. If they have literally nothing, I could get Lost Sentinel and then... no, then I couldn't afford Glorybringer. What am I talking about? I think I just have to like get Lost to Sentinel and hold up in a braid. which is rough because they get a lot of cards here. At least the tokens don't matter if Conqueror sticks around. Go 4. They cast nothing at instant speed there. They go for the attack. We allow it. Go to 1. Shouldn't have burn and Simic. Thieving Skydiver, yeah. Pass. Let's abrade the blocker. Jam out a Glorybringer. Attack all. We die to Fog. That's about it. Yeah, I'll play Lorehold instead of Glorybringer because it's cute. Okay, there's the concession from our opponent. We are now 3-1. Technically, I should have still played Glorybringer so that I could exert and kill Surrak if they somehow survived, but whatever. It worked out, and we are 3-1, at least a 50-50 record for this draft. All right, here we now are. That's still a sentence. I don't know why I'm confused. Here we now are for game of Magic the Gathering. I don't know what's happening. We got 3 Inspector turn 1. We are on the draw here against a blue-red deck with Talisman of Curiosity to start them off. They could be an artifact-heavy deck or, well, probably an artifact-heavy deck with something like Tinker here. I don't think it's worth abrading the Talisman just in case of a Tinker. I mean, it's not likely enough. It just means they have one in their deck. It could be the bottom card. Not to mention the possibility that they just don't, and they just want some mana ramp in general. Ooh! It's gonna be an Armageddon game? Wait a minute. Okay. Shoot myself in the face. If Clarion Conquer resolved, it's so good here, but it's so unlikely to against triple blue. Just gonna go for it. I guess we'd play around like Days specifically by playing Stoneforge, which would also be pretty decent if it resolves. Alright, they're gonna let it resolve to Lightning Bolt it to potentially save a counterspell for something that has an enter the battlefield effect. I don't think we Armageddon with a single 1-2 on the board. I think we wait. Plus, they are decently likely to just be able to counter it. I'm tempted to grab Glimmerlens here, because the issue is if I grab Cauldron Complete and then they just blow up Stoneforge, and then, like, I'm never Armageddon-ing at that rate. I feel like it's reasonable. Just go Glimmerlens and run it out here. Days. And go for the throw. Well, they're running out of cards, so Stoneforge just being a 2-for-1 is good. And the fact that they even threw a go for the throw to this, the Stoneforge is very surprising to me. We top deck the Cauldron Complete anyway. Alright, let's upgrade the Nexus of Becoming for sure. Shut off their card draw engine. I guess we're waiting to Armageddon until we hard cast a Cauldron Complete. This card is just not going to do anything in this game. Surprisingly. Cranial Ram. Glorybringer away the creature. Or get rid of their last counterspell. That would work too. Aw, counterspell plus draw a card, so they still have a card left over. That could be another counterspell. Now you're playing against control. Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, I really want to blow up their lands now, but they would still have a Talisman to work with the Retrofitter. Awkward, awkward. Come on, top deck land. Let me culture complete. Uh oh, and that's also not the right mana to cast Adeline and Armageddon. It's been a lot of mana to try to start chumping Lore Hold. Let's go for Lore Hold here. Goodbye, culture complete. Now I can cast Adeline and Armageddon in the same turn. Four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. 1 mana sack this, get a 1/1 flyer. Untap it for 3, that's 4 mana. Chump, then make a 4/4. Untap it again, 7 mana. Make another 1/1. 9 mana. So you have a 4/4 and a 1/1 on the crackback. Yeah, no, we're fine. We can flunge. Uh-oh, maybe we're not fine. What is their last card in hand? Oh, Force of Will Hardcast. If they top deck removal, I guess we die. Let's just all in on the top deck here. If they don't top deck removal, then they're dead. So they just have one blind draw step to win this game. Oh, they could equip to the flyer. I'm an idiot. I punted so hard. We could have held Lorehold back then and sent everybody else in. That would have been 2 damage. Oh, wait. That was actually just going to be rough for us. So we hold Lorehold back, poke them for 2. And then chump with a Lorehold. I mean, I guess it's a trade, but then they make another flyer with the Retrofitter. I guess we had to Armageddon a lot sooner than that to have a shot there. Yeah. Kind of a interesting board state there. 3-2 it is, heading into game number 6. All right, here we are on the play for game number 6. You love to see it. The aggro deck on the play, let's get in there. Glimmer lens it up, get our stats to the board immediately. Lion Sash. Revoker on Lion Sash is not that crazy. It's alright here. I would rather just get more power down. But I could play Pride plus Revoker, but I haven't gained a life this turn, so yeah, let's just Adeline it up. This is a pretty wild board. See, this is the kind of game where it's like if we had a 4th land and then we top decked Armageddon, it would be like, alright, GG. Agent Bishop. Buff up the board. Find a Get Lost. Alright, Agent, why don't you get the heck out of here, man? Get the heck out. Get lost. Nerd. I don't think we get City's Blessing here, but still worth playing pre-combat to buff Adeline. I should have attacked the other one. Why did I do that? Sure, they could kill it for free, but I'm getting a new one anyway. So I get an extra damage, and that was a very bad attack from me. I should have probably full flunged it and let them kill Elite Interceptor even. Been a sloppy Boros day for sure. But this is why we love Boros. You can be a little sloppy, can still get those 4 win runs. We are 4-2 heading into game 7. Alright, here we are for game number 7. Really, really nice stuff. Ocelot Pride There's no 2-drop, but we get Ocelot Pride into the Adeline, Clarion Conqueror. Some really good stuff. Opponents on turn 1 Soul Rings, they're going to play like 4 mana cards on turn 2. This is already a pretty bad start, but Clarion Conqueror can shut off the Soul Ring a little bit later. It's already going to be after they've done quite a bit with it, with Soul Ring on the play over there. Well, I don't even want to guess how much mana they have this turn, because it's a lot. They just turn 2 Badger Mole Cubbed after the Soul Ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at least. Oh boy. I mean, if they play a land this turn, they have 6. Okay, another Mana Dork to go with the Badger Mole Cub. This is wild. You know what's kind of crazy? If they can't counter this Clarion Conqueror or something, it shuts off their Endotha Triumph too. Since they made it a creature. It shuts off the Caryatid, shuts off the Soul Ring. If they don't have interaction in their hand, Clarion Conqueror could just win this game. I wonder what they're waiting on here. Keen-Eyed Curator. And a Mox. I mean, maybe it doesn't even matter, like the Clarion Conqueror, because it's possible they've just run out everything already anyway. They don't have any more lands in their hand. So it's all gas. Alright, well, let's play the Conqueror over the Adeline, just in case they do have something to do with that mana. This is shutting off so many cards on this board. It's definitely the play. It's another Mana Dork. Craziest Badger Mole Cub deck. Oh my god. They don't have any reach or flying. Play the chunkiest blocker, because Bombardiers can't get activated anyway. Glorbringer's going to be really nice next turn. Lorehold's actually been pretty decent today. We keep making it to 5 mana, and just playing a big Flying Haster has been putting in work. It's so insane they have this many cards on their board that could tap for mana, but they technically only have 2 mana now. Thanks to Clarion Conqueror. Like, it's insane how different this game would be without Clarion Conqueror in terms of at least their mana output. Alright, I'm going to start killing one of their cards every other turn. They're over it. They're so over it. Clarion Conqueror absolutely running that game. That is 5-2. In the money out of this draft, no matter where things go from here. Heading into round number 8. That's a hand. Alright, we keep the mulligan. We are on the play with our 6-card hand that does have a Mox in it for a turn 2 Paulo. But nothing turn 1. I mean, we're holding up interaction at least. But, I mean, there's no way we're mulliganing down from this. Is this our first Mox hand? This might be our first Mox hand. Okay. 2 mana plays, so they have a Road, Bauble, Emeritus, Suplex, Lelia, Wandering Emperor. Okay, so things they can do next turn will be like Suplex, Spellbinder. I think we just let them kill Spellbinder because they can also erode it. I mean, if I hit Suplex, it's pretty good. Because having them erode it instead is a lot better for us. I feel like Lelia is the card that we can most significantly tax, but we also have the Abrade for it anyway. I think with Abrade and Get Lost, we just get rid of Suplex and make them erode us. And then we just Abrade Lelia before they attack. Get Lost somebody else. Or Abrade Emeritus and Get Lost Lelia. We don't know if they have the third land in hand yet. Why didn't they play and activate the Bauble to draw another card at some point? Why they've been holding it? They did top deck the land to play the Lelia, so we'll blow up Lelia before they can attack. Now they're going to play Bauble. Fair. Top deck the land. Well, they're certainly winning the long game here. We have to draw something very good to make up for the lost card advantage of our bull. They don't have double white for the Wandering Emperor, though. Oh. Mountain off the top. Oh my god, they hit Manamorphose for the Wandering Emperor? That's filthy. Manamorphose out of the Boros deck to hit the double white. Pretty incredible for them. And Mulligan into Flood is very bad for us.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Flage for Spellbinder too. And we literally saw their hand, so we know they're drawing some goodies here. A Flage and a Morphos for the Emperor. And then a Fiery Confluence. When I play Revoker, and they just deal 1 to each creature with Fiery Confluence and 4 to my face. So it's not even, it doesn't accomplish anything. I guess it forces them to Confluence instead of just like playing a Flage here or something. They don't quite have enough cards for Flage yet, though, in their graveyard. They're one off. So need 5 others. Now they do. Wait, they just played the Suplex? Okay.
We must protect the
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty dead. Just run out of cards much faster. Just to be expected here. And there's the Fiery Confluence for lethal. That is 5 and 3 for this Arena Cube draft. Pretty respectable run, I'll take it. We definitely made some mistakes during gameplay quite often. So it's likely we could have got at least 6 wins in one of, changing some plays in one of our earlier losses. We certainly could have made those games last longer. I think each of those we ended up dying like a turn or two faster than we needed to. But we would have had to put ourselves in a pretty rough position to survive longer, like trumping with a lore hold in one of those games. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think we drafted the open archetype. We got a pretty good deck here. I do think like Stoneforge Mystic type Cauldron Complete nonsense is just really not worth it, especially like in this kind of deck. We should have just taken more good Boros cards in general, or even like not talking about the draft itself, just like cut these two and play like a Gideon and an Enduring Innocence or Ember Shield Breaker, Mind Collapse, or almost anything that's in the sideboard over those two cards. We probably would have had a stronger deck. But I wanted to try out some of the cute stuff. It didn't really work out. The only times we really drew the Stoneforge Mystic, she just kind of died before we could do the thing. So, all right. I already lost the draft. Why do I need a 40 card deck, Arena? That's gonna do it for today. 5-3 is the final record, which I will take. That will go infinite. If you go 5-3 every draft, you'll be up in value every time. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.